A personal statement is basically a one-page essay about 500 words long that helps the committee understand your motivation to become a doctor. It is often, but not always, the first part of the application that an admissions committee member will read. Think of it as introducing yourself to the committee and explaining why you want to be a doctor. Then the other part of the application, like your activities and grades and MCAT score, will try to demonstrate that you are genuine about your motivation and that you have what it takes to be successful in medical school. I remember spending a long time thinking about what I wanted to write in my personal statement and exactly how I should write about it. I actually went through a few drafts before I was happy with it, but eventually it did come out good. I do remember like my first draft, I had someone read it and they said, "Oh, actually, this is not really good. You need to try again." And that was a little defeating, but I went back to the drawing board and I completely came up with something different that was more personal and it had more stories and it really got to the essence of like my motivation. And I think that that was so much better than the first draft. So don't worry if you have to write it a couple of times. That is part of getting to that great personal statement. Okay, so let's take a deep dive into what it takes to write this great personal statement. First, your essay must make it clear why you want to be a doctor. That is the first and foremost reason why you're writing this 500-word essay to begin with. Your essay has to be clear. It has to be well written. There's nothing more distracting to a reader than like having really obvious grammatical mistakes or poor word choices. All right, so let's delve a little deeper and get into the don'ts of writing your personal statement. All right. The first don't is do not disparage doctors. Another don't is don't disparage other healthcare professionals. Now, by other healthcare professionals, I mean like, nurses and medical assistants and just other people who are part of the healthcare team, but maybe not physicians, maybe nurse practitioners, physician assistants. The fact is that medicine requires a lot of teamwork, and that involves valuing the contributions of everyone on the healthcare team. Do not divulge anything that you're not truly comfortable divulging or sharing. If you discuss something like a disability, a mental health struggle, a difficult life experience, a health condition, then it is assumed that discussion of this is fair game. Don't feel like you need to get super creative. You can still write a great personal statement without being someone who is an excellent writer or a super creative person. Your essay is an essay. It's not a Jane Austen novel. It doesn't have to be a poem by T.S. Eliot. You're not competing with that level, but it has to be, like we said, has to be clear and it has to communicate your why. That being said, stories can be super powerful. I think engaging the reader by telling a story or sharing an experience can be really useful. So do feel free to tell stories, but don't get so wrapped up in telling an incredible story that you lose sight of your main message or your main messages. You only have about one page or those 500 words to explain your why, your drive, and your passion for medicine, so use it wisely. If you're telling a story, include enough details to make it clear and make it engaging, but don't make it take up like half of the whole statement, because then you're not getting to the point of that story.